Yeah, I was lazy.
もうそんなんじゃほら心は進化するよもっともっと
Warning, this video contains heavy spoilers from My Hero Academia Season 3, specifically episodes 4 and 11. You have been warned.
Hello my fellow otakus. It's your man Evan, otherwise known as the Insane Otaku here. And today I'm talking about my favorite fight scene in all of My Hero Academia. Scratch that, all of anime. Scratch that, actually all of all time. Now this may be sacrilegious among the My Hero Academia community, but I consider this fight better than the one All Might versus All for One. Oh, that one is so close to being as good in my opinion, but just doesn't quite get there. This fight to me is an overwhelmingly emotional experience. It has amazing music, amazing animation, and a fantastic conveyance of power that makes everything feel like its stakes is so high. To prove this, I'm going to break the fight down from the very beginning. Immediately we establish a hard power dynamic between the two. The framing of all the shots makes Kota feel insignificant and tiny comparatively to the other guy. As a viewer of the show, this creates a subconscious link that this guy is a serious threat. This scene also highlights the connection of Muscular to Kota's parents, namely in their deaths. Now this is one of the two things I really don't like about this fight. Although it's a minor issue, it is very coincidental, too coincidental, that he had something to do with their deaths at all, and that he met up with Kota. The man that ruined his life is right there in front of him. As I said before, this is pretty much inconsequential in my opinion, not a really big deal. However, just when it looks like Kota is gonna get insta-wrecked by Muscular, Midoriya swings on in there and swoops him out of it into his arms. From this very scene, a brisk and hard-hitting tone is set from the very beginning. In this attack, Midoriya's phone is also destroyed. This is actually a callback to the Stain fight, where he used his phone to contact Todoroki to get help to fight Stain. This means that he's going to have no backup during this fight, and this makes him visibly flustered. His confidence is also definitely shaken. Despite telling Kota it's going to be okay, he himself looks like he's not so sure. This line of dialogue is heavily called upon later in the fight, actually 2 more times. Moving on from that, we see Muscular taunting Midoriya, flaunting his power. All too soon we see that it isn't just talk. The gap between the two characters in a physical space is closed almost instantly when Muscular rushes in, and before Midoriya even has time to react, he gets a devastating punch in his arm. We actually hear the bone in his arm crunch right away, and then he's flung right into the side of the mountain. This serves to show that even seconds into the fight, he only has one arm. Unlike his self-inflicted internal breaks, he cannot use this arm at all. As Midoriya runs away, we see that's completely twisted backwards. No strength can be generated from that thing. It's basically completely useless from here on. Now to be clear, this is actually the only shot in the entire episode where his arm is twisted backwards like that, but that could just be due to budget constraints or censorship issues. So it's safe to assume that his arm is supposed to be twisted backwards like that, or at least broken in that way for the rest of the episode. Next we see Midoriya take a devastating kick into his body and get thrown into a wall. Even when he stands up to fight back, his punch does nothing when it comes to damage. All of this reinforces the power dynamic between the two. Muscular is just stronger. This is a simple fact. Midoriya begins to realize it as well at this point. From here on, even more brutalizing of Midoriya happens. Seriously, this shit is absolutely bananas. He also gets hit in the head with a rock, so hello, severe concussion. With Midoriya on the ground, Muscular is gonna deliver his final blow when Kota throws a pebble at him. Somehow he's such a idiot that he goes to turn to Kota and not finish the job. Some talking and screaming later, Muscular now wants to smash Kota in the face, but Midoriya is not going to let that happen. He once again jumps into the fray. What I love about this scene is Midoriya deciding to use his useless limb. Stuffing it into the muscle fiber is absolutely disgusting. However, it's also shown to be a very smart plan. I also really love how the music swells as it jumps. Timing of it actually tells us something serious is coming, and that's coming soon. As the music climaxes, we get the long-awaited 100% smash! Well, that's a wrap, boys. Oh shit. This fake out actually works amazingly. It baits us into thinking that the fight has ended in an extremely disappointing way. 100% has always worked before. It's All Might's power. No one can stand up to that. However, this time that's clearly not the case. This brings the stakes up even further. We get chills as an audience seeing that not only does Muscular beat Midoriya in terms of strength, he absolutely dwarfs him in comparison. We also know that it's the lives of Midoriya and Kota that are in absolute mortal danger right now. Midoriya can't fail. Similarly to the All Might versus All for One fight, however, in my opinion, this actually feels more dangerous because of the personalness of it. In the All Might fight, the city and its inhabitants are essentially what's at stake there, and in terms of actuality, it is more, but in terms of writing, those might as well be abstract concepts. And the reason why is because we never see any of those things, and we don't know those characters. In this fight, it's Kota. Yeah, Kota is an innocent kid. He's also kind of a prick, but he definitely does not deserve to die. From this encounter though, Midoriya and Muscular are both shocked in their own ways. Midoriya is shocked because he sees that one for all 100% does not work on this guy, even though it's worked every time before. And Muscular is shocked because he sees that he has damage done to him and it hurts, and that hasn't happened to him yet in this fight. This causes Muscular to get serious with Midoriya. Some chasing later and he's stuck in a wall. I guess that's the disadvantage of having overwhelming strength and power. However, this leads to one of, if not the most, hype building scene in the entire fight, and that is Midoriya's self-debate. Most shonen fights have characters with a heavy set ideals and how they're gonna beat the fight from the very beginning. However, in this one, Midoriya is super unsure of what he's supposed to do. His debate clearly contrasts which side of him is speaking with hard color changes. His cowardice is shown as red, and his bravery is shown as clear colors as they're supposed to be. While he's speaking through his red side, the camera continues to zoom into his broken right arm. Why is this? Well, it shows that above all the other reasons that he's listing to run in this situation, he's actually most afraid of hurting himself. It already really hurts. And it hurts so bad that he thinks he can't do it. But as he determines during the argument, he has to. And since we know his left arm is useless for the rest of this fight, it's gonna have to be the right one. Now Midoriya stands up again, and he tells Kota it's gonna be okay. But unlike earlier, he's not shaking at all. He's determined and he's confident. And that's when we get the 100% Detroit smash! One minor but interesting detail here is that when he's just about to hit his smash, he smiles through his tears, just like All Might. What follows is the most intense set of scenes put on screen ever, in my opinion. You just see a barrage of visual power and pain conveyed. Midoriya's eyes have gone completely white, as if he's gone absolutely insane. He's crying intensely from the pain, but not only that, the gravity between the two created from the shockwave is actually pushing his tears to stream upwards. The speed lines also indicate the ferocity, so we just know that this is absolutely vicious. Through all of this, we still see Midoriya telling Kota everything's gonna be okay, his determination not yet shaken. We also get some amazing screaming voice work here. Midoriya's voice actor, Yamashita, puts some serious voice talent into these scenes. His voice alone is enough to convey the direness of the situation, but then you add some kick-ass animation and music and it just sets it way over the edge and the hype builds so high. And now Midoriya gets pressed to the ground and we see him cry harder than ever before, though this time it's not from the pain. But now it's from the disappointment he feels he's ultimately causing his mother and his teacher All Might. He hears the words of All Might when he fight No Move during Season 1 play through his head. He believes that's what a hero should be in this situation. But now he believes he can't ever be a hero like All Might because he can't save himself and Kota like he did back then. Just as all hope is lost, Kota uses his quirk on screen for the first time, which is a water quirk. There's actually some pretty good character development for Kota because it shows that he's starting to accept powers in a superpowered society. We see the light in Midoriya's eye return, and he realizes that in that moment he cannot let Kota die no matter what. So with another final push of strength, he manages to actually Jesus levitate off the ground. That's when we get the 1,000,000% Delaware Detroit smash! Now this is my second minor issue with the fight. Believe it or not, I do not have an issue with the percentage because some people think it's but it actually really isn't. It just feels like it is because it's not explained very well. Midoriya is over-exaggerating that percentage to pump himself up to win this fight. Don't believe me? Horikoshi said so himself. The percentage call and attack, however, in this scene, despite the issues, are amazing. The composition of the scene is so detailed, especially Midoriya tearing through the muscle fibers. While it is technically anime original, this scene is so badass, I'm so glad that it was added into the anime. With this, we get the most intense scream I have ever heard in my entire life. It's better to let you guys just hear this. With that, Muscular is whipped into the side of the cliff and defeated, and god, that intense. We then see a flashback from Kota that sees his mindset on a hero's change, and it is revealed that Midoriya was the one that changed his mindset in this situation, and that makes him become his hero. With this, we get Midoriya slamming his foot into the ground and screaming into the air. This actually parallels the positioning and framing from a Season 1 episode where Midoriya screams on top of a pile of garbage. However, in that case, at least in my opinion, it played to comedic effect, showing that yes, he has grown from the beginning of the series, but a scream to that quality wasn't quite deserved in that situation. This time though, it sure as hell was. But our jaws are left agape nonetheless. Horikoshi has demonstrated in the past and even after this fight that he is a master of fight pacing and writing. But this, in my opinion, is his magnum opus. This fight has yet to be topped by any other form of media in the entire world, at least as far as I've seen. Well, if My Hero Academia surpasses it again in the future, it'll probably leave me absolutely speechless, and god damn, I really want to see that fight.